If you're anything like me, then you love reading books but just don't have enough time for it. When I worked full-time in finance, I was reading at least one book a week. But now that I run my own business, I read even more. I recently set a goal for myself to read 2 books a week, which is about 100 books a year. So in this video, I'll share how I do it. How I get through so many books without speed reading or having any special powers. It's pretty simple, actually. So let's dive right in. The first thing is to understand why you want to read more and what you hope to achieve from it. For me, I read for 2 main reasons. First, I love learning new things. Second, I need ideas for my work. You see, I write all my videos and also have a newsletter where I cover topics related to mental health and personal growth. So I'm always on the lookout for good ideas. That said, I never take notes when I read purely for pleasure. But when I read for work, I'm always thinking of ways that I can use the knowledge I'm gaining. This keeps me engaged with the material and helps me retain what I learned. Next, find the right place and time to read. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you know that I talk about the importance of routines. So when it comes to reading, I have a few rules that I follow every day. First, I only drink coffee at my desk. Drinking coffee anywhere else is strictly prohibited. And the reason for this is because I only drink coffee when I want to focus. So by associating coffee with working, I signal to my brain that it's time to focus. Therefore, whenever I see a cup of coffee, I'm ready to focus. Next, I keep my phone away from my desk. If I wanted to check my phone, I would have to stand up and walk over to where it is. This prevents me from getting distracted by social media. And lastly, I have a strict no TV rule while eating dinner. We have an eating space in our kitchen, and there's a TV in the same room, but we never watch it while eating. Dinner is a time for my wife and I to connect with each other and process our days. If we start watching TV, we won't be able to do that. That said, I still watch TV before going to bed. So after my eyes get droopy, it's easy for me to go to sleep. Now, if you think this sounds restrictive, don't worry. There's plenty of time to relax during the day and also on weekends. I usually read fiction at night for pleasure and stick to nonfiction during the day for work. The third step is to take action and actually sit down to read. Sometimes I see people struggle with motivation and procrastination, but the truth is they often haven't set aside any time to do the thing they're struggling to get motivated for. Take reading, for example. People might not feel motivated to read, but it could be because they haven't created a dedicated space and time to do so. So when I sit down to read, I make sure that nothing will disrupt me. My wife knows not to disturb me. She'll often ask me if I want to watch something together on the weekend, and I'll say, "Let's do that later. My priority is to finish the book that I'm reading." Now, sometimes she gets upset about this, but I always make it up to her later. Next, I have a list of books to read. As I mentioned earlier, I'm always thinking about ways that I can improve myself or get ideas for work. So anytime I come across an interesting book, I add it to my list. That way I always have a backup plan of what to read next. Some platforms allow you to organize your books into lists. So I added all the books I want to read to a list called Books to Read. This makes it easy for me to find inspiration when I'm looking for a new book. The 5th step is to shorten the books. You see, most books are written for a general audience. That means that the authors often repeat themselves and include filler chapters to drag out the book. So here are 3 ways that I shorten the books. The first thing is to skip the fluff. Whenever I'm reading a chapter and don't learn anything new, I skip to the next chapter. Secondly, I don't read every page. If I feel that a certain part of the book is not relevant to me, I simply skip it. Lastly, I make use of features such as go to page and search inside the book to quickly find the parts that I'm interested in. Once I find those parts, I highlight them and add notes. I also take notes of the key points and insights from the book. I've tried highlighting directly on Kindle, but found it too distracting. So I switched to taking notes on paper. After I finish the book, I summarize the key points and insights from each chapter in one page. Then I put the notes and the summary into Notion. This allows me to easily revisit the ideas in the book. In addition, I can search my entire library of books to find ideas that I may have missed. Another tip for shortening the book is to listen to audiobooks while doing other things. Now, some people prefer listening to audiobooks instead of reading the physical book because it allows them to multitask. They can listen to audiobooks while driving, cooking, or doing chores. However, audiobooks can be expensive, and some people may not have the patience to listen to an entire book without being fully engaged in the story. That said, I personally love listening to audiobooks while exercising, showering, or doing dishes. It's a great way to make use of time and learn something new. My favorite feature is the ability to change the playback speed. By changing the speed to 2x, I'm able to finish the book much faster than if I were to listen to it at normal speed. Unfortunately, not all books are available as audiobooks, so I try to listen to audiobooks whenever possible. Lastly, focus on understanding instead of finishing. When I read a book, I'm often highlighting and taking notes. But if I feel like I don't understand something, I reread that part multiple times until I grasp the idea. I don't want to miss out on important ideas just to finish the book quickly. This is especially true for books that I'm reading for work. I want to make sure that I fully understand what the author is trying to convey. On the other hand, if I'm reading a book for pleasure, I don't spend too much time on each chapter. I'll often skip parts that I don't enjoy and reread the parts that I like. My goal is to have fun and get lost in the story, not to finish the book as quickly as possible. So there you have it, my simple approach to reading 2 books a week. It doesn't require speed reading or any special powers. Just follow these steps and you'll be on your way to reading more books in no time. Thank you so much for watching. And if you found this video helpful, please let me know in the comments below. I appreciate your support and wish you all the best in your reading journey. Take care.